Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. This is Gina. So, a study came out that I found really fascinating. It really is kind of at the intersection of what I'm trying to do as far as health goes, helping people to live healthier, longer lives, plus politics. So, there is such a crossover, which is why I started this YouTube channel and podcast to begin with. But this new study shows that people in blue states, that is, states that are controlled by Democrats, people in those states live longer than people who reside in states considered to be red states, controlled by Republicans. They say that life expectancy data underscore the importance of state policies. And one of the lead authors of this study is a professor by the name of Jennifer Carras Montez. She's a sociologist at Syracuse University in New York. This new study investigated life expectancy in the United States. So, according to Montez, quote, Americans die younger than people in other high income countries. Now, I know this. This is something that I've written about, I've talked about. It has a lot to do with our lax regulations, even though people think that we have so many, and stringent and over encumbering regulations in this country. We really don't, compared to other countries where they ban GMOs, where they don't allow pharmaceutical companies to promote their products in commercials. I mean, things that we just take for granted here as part of life is not normal in other countries. But that was not really what played a part in this study in particular. So, Professor Montez said that this disparity in our life expectancy here in the United States compared to other industrialized countries started to become an issue in the 1980s. And she said that the problem has grown since that time. So the disparity has become even more overwhelming. There's even a bigger gap. And what Professor Montez and others found in this study was that people who live in states that are Democrat controlled typically live longer due to the policies implemented in these left-leaning states. So researchers found that during the 1980s and since 2010, several state policy changes have had a negative effect on life expectancy. So how did they determine this? Well, they reviewed 18 state policies overall, and 10 of those specific policies strongly predict the length of an average resident's life. And what they found was that liberal policies were associated with greater life expectancy. So, in particular, policies surrounding tobacco use, immigration, civil rights, the environment, right to work laws, minimum wage laws, abortion, Medicaid availability, and earned income tax credits were the most telling. And I've talked before on this show about Medicaid availability and how there's still, I think it's like 17 different red states who are refusing to expand Medicaid availability that became available to them when the ACA was put in place, the Affordable Care Act, and they just refuse to enact it. They refuse to allow it. And so they have a large portion of their residents who are uninsured. They're either uninsured or underinsured. And so they don't seek medical attention when they start to feel bad. They don't seek medical attention when they may have COVID or another life-threatening illness. And I mean, between all of this plus the really piss poor job we do in this country of pushing prevention, of preventing disease. And I just think that we need to talk about that so much more. But I digress. To get back into this, so based on their research, they found that if some states had not become more conservative, there would have been a gain in life expectancy. And they estimate there would have been a 13% increase in life expectancy for men and a 25% increase in life expectancy for women. So this definitely disproportionately affects women more so. So Professor Montez cites 2 states in particular, which really highlight the discrepancy between blue state and red state policies and how it affects morbidity. So, for example, residents in Connecticut on average will live several years longer than residents in Oklahoma. And this is really sad. So they said that they rank life expectancy in Connecticut somewhere between that of Denmark and Costa Rica, which are really good on life expectancy, especially in Denmark because they have socialized medicine. So people don't have to worry about going into medical bankruptcy if they have a life-threatening illness. So they actually go to the doctor when they need to, and they go in for preventative services. However, Oklahoma's life expectancy lies somewhere between Serbia and Brazil. Not really good. They also noted that Connecticut has become one of the most liberal states in the US, while Oklahoma has become one of the most conservative. And Professor Montez pointed out how conservative lobbying groups play a part in this. Lobbying groups such as ALEC, which is definitely a conservative group, they pressure lawmakers. They donate to their campaigns. They put pressure on them to enact certain policies or to not enact certain policies. And they said that ALEC is highly active in Oklahoma, but not very influential in states like Connecticut. So that does play a part. And she ended by saying that, quote, policymakers and the public must recognize that putting profits over people cuts lives short. Yeah, I mean, it's that in a nutshell. We are literally polluting our waterways, our land, our air, all in the name of profit, all to benefit corporations. That's why when people talk about how great Trump has been in getting rid of all these regulations, look, I'm not someone who is for cumbersome regulations. I mean, you have to be fair, and definitely small companies, small business owners should be treated differently than large corporations. They should have a different set of rules. You should not put these onerous laws and regulations on small businesses, mom and pop shops that larger corporations can easily handle. It's just not fair and it shouldn't be done. But you have to have some regulations in place. You can't, the libertarian view of, oh, let's just get rid of all regulation and all government and it's a free-for-all and people will just work it out. They'll do what's right. No, apparently they won't. If they did, if we could trust companies to do the right thing, they would have done it already. Even with our regulations, they're still polluting our waterways, polluting our air quality, polluting our land. How much worse would they be if there was nobody watching out, if there was nobody who was looking over their shoulder and telling them what they could and couldn't do? My God, I don't even want to think about that. So no, sorry. I think it's become pretty damn obvious, especially in this time of COVID, where all of these multi-billion-dollar companies and companies bringing in trillions of dollars a year have done nothing to help. And in fact, they're profiting off of people's misery while millions of Americans are on the verge of losing their homes and being homeless. And millions of Americans are saying they don't have enough to eat. Yeah, no, sorry, I don't trust corporations. They don't give a shit. If they did, they would have shown it already. They had their chance. They proved that they don't give a damn about anything but profit. And so that's it. They've lost all goodwill. Anyway, guys, that is the news. I thought it was pretty interesting that depending on what state you live in, you could live longer or die earlier. All right, as always, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to Plants and Politics. The only way we can take our country and power back is to spread the truth and build an army. So remember to like, follow, subscribe, and share on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks again.